You're watching ABC7 News at 7.
You know, the importance of teaching proper technique of tackling so that they can minimize the risk of concussion and other injuries, I think is the number one priority of any football coach.
Football coaches on the Suncoast are seeing a dip in participation because of safety concerns. Can new techniques and technology help salvage the sport? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Conan. Welcome to ABC7 at 7. We'll have more on preventing football injuries in a moment, but first, our top stories at 7. They are still recounting the great Florida recount part due. So far, few changes to the initial vote totals are being found as the first recount numbers are being completed by county elections offices for 3 statewide races. The machine recounts continuing to take place across Florida today in races for U.S. Senate, Governor, Commissioner of Agriculture, and several legislative seats. The recounts, which were ordered Saturday, are required when the margins between the candidates are less than 0.5% or less. The machine recounts will play out over 5 days, with county canvassing boards required to report results by 3 p.m. Thursday.
We know that we're all using certified systems. They're maintained, and we know that the votes don't change a whole lot. And so it's not surprising that it didn't.
Earlier this afternoon, the judge extended the recount deadline for Palm Beach County until November 20th. Senator Bill Nelson in Washington today, but watching events in Florida closely.
Sadly, it's become clear that my opponent isn't interested in making sure that every lawful vote is counted. Instead, he's been using his power as governor to try to undermine the voting process. He's thrown around words like voter fraud with no proof.
Lawyers for Nelson's campaign filing a lawsuit in federal court today seeking to extend the deadline for recounting all the votes statewide in the U.S. Senate race. And speaking of Scott, his team responding, it is nice to see Bill Nelson emerge from hiding, but it's surprising that he would want to appear with Chuck Schumer, who is using him as a pawn and dragging his legacy through the mud in an effort to change election laws ahead of 2020. When the machine recounts is complete Thursday, Nelson will have to decide if he wants to preserve his legacy and go out with dignity, or if he wants to be forever remembered as the guy that liberal groups used in an effort to win the presidential election 2 years early. Allegiant Airlines is adding nonstop routes out of Sarasota-Bradenton International Airport early next year. The 9 new routes added to a list of others being offered by airlines like Delta, Frontier, and American Airlines. SRQ hopes the new destinations will bring more business to the area. The routes are Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Nashville, Tennessee, Richmond, Virginia, Syracuse, New York, Asheville, North Carolina, Cleveland and Columbus, Ohio, Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Baltimore, which may be especially good news for all the Orioles fans hoping to go to see spring training games here in Sarasota.
Big one that jumps to mind is Baltimore. The Orioles spring training here in Sarasota. I mean, fans don't have to miss a minute of it now because this flight's going to start right before spring training, and it's going to be so convenient for everyone to get there.
The flights to Baltimore and Asheville will be available starting in February. The other flights will begin in April. Now let's head over to ABC7's chief meteorologist, Bob Harrigan, with the first alert forecast. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. And a lot of folks will be flying down from those cities visiting us on our warm temperatures. Not very normal, though. Our average temperature right around this number. We got up to 87 degrees again today. Humidity at 84% right now. We have a south wind at 5. That south wind is bringing that warm, moist air up here to the sun coast. And that's soon to change, though. We're going to see a storm system develop in the Gulf of Mexico, which will sweep a front our way and a good chance for some rainfall, especially it looks like Wednesday late in the day and continuing Wednesday night, Thursday morning. There's even a chance for a few thunderstorms as the system works its way through. That'll be, again, late Wednesday night and into Thursday morning. Eventually, it all clears out of here by Thursday midday as that low pressure takes off to the north. We'll get this north wind, and that will bring in some of the coldest air of the season thus far. We're talking highs on Friday only in the low 70s, even some upper 60s across the area. As far as rainfall totals go, we don't expect a huge rainfall event. We will see some thunderstorms at times and occasionally a little heavier rainfall in some isolated areas, but I think generally less than a ½ inch in most areas and a little lesser amount well inland. Well, the Titan radar picture depicting a lot of rainfall from North Carolina, southward through Georgia, and then out into the Gulf of Mexico. This all associated with that low pressure area and a little frontal boundary way back here. This front will start to really attach itself to this area of low pressure and then sweep through. It should be all out of here by midday on Thursday in terms of the front passing through us. And then our winds will start to switch around to a northerly direction, which will cool us off. Right now, we do have some light rainfall around, and we can expect some sprinkles here and there throughout the evening hours. Not a lot of rain expected through this evening, and looks to be pretty nice. In fact, a nice start tomorrow. We'll see partly cloudy skies tomorrow to start the day, and warm temperatures. The lows will be into the low 70s tonight. Gorgeous sunset tonight. And as far as current temps go, look at the cooler weather already over the Panhandle in the 50s there. In Pensacola and Tallahassee, 20 degrees warmer here in Sarasota. Well, more in the forecast. Let you know about that tropical system down to our south as well, coming up in a few minutes. Alan?
Thanks, Bob. It is woven into the fabric of our community. Friday night lights, high school football, but the specter of what we know about brain and other injuries is threatening the sport many of us love so much. As Dwayne Lindo tells us, efforts continue to make it safer. Dwayne.
Well, Alan, doctors and most of all parents have now been aware of the types of injuries that can occur on the football field. So coaches are using tackling techniques and technology to minimize those injuries.
He's always loved sports.
Every Friday night, Christine Skett holds her breath while her son Alex suits up and hits the football field. Concerns over injuries are nothing new for parents, but for Skett, those fears have become more intense, especially when it comes to his head.
Well, so he did get a concussion, but it wasn't playing football.
Alex was in a car accident prior to playing football. Now that Alex is playing, she's an expert.
Yeah, I knew what to look for. I definitely wanted a coach that cared about the players.
This is the area that has really grown over the last 2 years.
And she says she found what she was looking for in St. Stephen's head coach, Todd Cronetti. For the last 6 years, he has been a master trainer for USA Football, learning proper tackling techniques, keeping injuries at a minimum. He says it's all about the fundamentals.
When you start by changing the language around tackling, if they're going to tackle somebody above the waist with the shoulder, and we talk shoulder, we're talking about the front of the shoulder, we're talking about engaging the strongest muscles in the upper body and making sure we're striking here and not here, which is more susceptible to injury.
There has even been a push in technology. Lakewood Ranch High School debuted their new smart helmets this year. Each helmet equipped with 5 sensors, registering a player's every move.
I believe we're at the forefront, technology-wise, of what an impact is, how we can protect the kids and go forward.
Head coach Chris Colton says, in addition to the safety aspect, coaches get a better grip on concussion protocols.
And what this does is it gives us an actual data point and data set where we can lock in and see, whether the kid's showing symptoms or not. It can monitor when a kid is having excess contact, when the kid's had contact, where the contact has come. I can pull this device up and tell him if he's leading with his head, if his head's too low.
Riverview High School head football coach Josh Smithers points to proper technique as the #1 priority for any football coach.
Teams are they have, more physicians on the sideline. You're getting concussion specialists that you're getting involved. So I think we're taking the appropriate steps to make it a safer game.
The new techniques and technology are changing the game for the better. And although injuries still happen, there's a bigger picture according to coaches.
You also want to be able to make the case to families and to kids that we're going to provide them an experience that's going to make their lives more rich. We are helping our kids, as all coaches should, build skills on the athletic field that are going to take them into life and help them be more successful. That's our long-term goal, not winning football games, but building young people who are going to thrive in all their surroundings.
And for the time being, Skett agrees, recognizing the positive impact football can have for her son.
And then academically, he's more focused. He's athletic, he's staying in shape, he's staying out of trouble because he's too tired to do anything else. He has a great group of friends from this. There's definitely a brotherhood.
Now, Alan, over the years, coaches have seen a number of parents discourage their kids from playing the sport. So the logical idea is to continue and enhance these types of safety measures to put parents' mind at ease in the future.
Dwayne, thank you. Coming up, a high school football coach, a doctor, and a 3-time Super Bowl champion, Henry Lawrence, at the traffic.
Recovery from mental and substance use disorders is real.
You can recover.
It's possible. It happens every day.
Never give up on yourself.
Discover hope and help.
I thought I was too far gone. I wasn't.
Join the Voices for Recovery.
the world is a beautiful place again.
For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral for mental and substance use disorders for you or someone you know, call 1-800-662-HELP.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
There are lots of people who are confused about which Medicare plan is right for them.
Hey, that's me. I barely know where to start.
Well, start here with me, Karen. I'm a licensed Humana sales agent.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Karen. I'm John Smith.
Hi, John. At Humana, we know you're unique, so you have different needs from other John Smiths.
Yeah, I've always thought so.
And together, we can find a plan that's right for you.
Great. I go to the doctor a couple of times a year, and I have some prescriptions, but I'm never fully sure of what's covered and what's not.
With Humana's all-in-one Medicare Advantage plans, you get coverage for hospital stays, doctor visits, and Part D prescription drug benefits, all for an affordable and sometimes no monthly plan premium.
Do you have any more information?
Sure. I'll get a decision guide in the mail to you today. They're free.
Finally, someone who understands the real me.
Your health and happiness is important to us. Call or go online now to get your free decision guide. Call a licensed Humana sales agent today.
America was built on a love for the outdoors. Join us every week for the best shows celebrating the outdoor lifestyle. Outdoor America. Live free.
This weekend on the ABC7 live stream.
Hey there, I'm P. Allen Smith. Join me Saturdays and Sundays on ABC7.
Welcome back. Across the Suncoast around Florida, from one end of the country to the other, there is just something about high school football games. We put our politics aside and we root for the kids, some of them who have dreams of the NFL, but increasingly fewer kids are playing football. Fewer parents want them to, because increasingly we're seeing the cost, the broken bodies and brain injuries to many of the game's biggest stars. Is there a way to fix the sport better? Helmets? Better technique? Joining us for more are three-time Super Bowl champion Henry Lawrence, Dr. George Roselle, who treats retired NFL players, and Todd Cronetti, head coach at St. Stephen's Episcopal School. And Coach, let me start with you. Are you starting to see fewer kids go out for your team?
I don't think it's a new problem. I think for the last several years we've seen people ask the question, is it really worthwhile for our kids to be playing tackle football? And we've been dealing with that for several years now. Certainly, as a high school coach, we have a lot more conversations with parents, much more in-depth conversations about what we do and how we do that. But we've seen the numbers drop over the last several years.
Henry, what's your reaction to that?
Well, I think it's a normal thing. Parent being protective, and I'm seeing that it's not just football. I have a friend whose daughter was playing soccer. Had a major concussion. She had to even stay home, do dog room, not even go to school. So it's not just a football issue that we're dealing with. And first of all, these kids starting to play football. I'm not a medical expert, but at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, I've always thought that kid make them play flag football till they learn the game. And when they get older, 11, 12, 13, then start. But by the time you get to high school, college, I mean, kid has been out there banging for a long time. And I know they say you hit this way and that way, but the basis of football, I don't think will ever change. And if you ever change the basis of football, then you don't have football. And right now, you're getting a lot of no football also.
I want to talk about the different techniques used for tackling and so forth a little bit later on. But Doctor, we are already seeing evidence. Aaron Hernandez with the Patriots, college football players, high school football players that unfortunately pass away, and they do these examinations, and even as young as high school players, they're seeing CTE.
Yes, as Henry was saying, most of these NFL players that I've treated started in youth football, and the brain is still very immature, still developing, doesn't reach maturity until the mid to late 20s. So that's not a time when you want to injure the brain, and it accumulates. The more times you have concussions, the more vulnerable your brain is, and the second concussion syndrome and the third concussion syndrome can be very severe.
Okay, we're going to take a short break. Our conversation on preventing football injuries continues right after we get a check on the First Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. The weather headlines read like this. We are looking at a shower and some thunderstorm kind of afternoon, late afternoon and evening as a result of approaching cold front. Now, that front will move through midday on Thursday. You'll start to see some cooler temperatures start to work their way in too by Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening. And then Friday morning, we're looking at lows down into the mid-50s in most places. And then we'll be back to average by Saturday night. That means temperatures will be in the low 60s. At least we'll get back to average. We've been so far above it over the past several days now that it's going to be feeling rather cool considering what we've been going through. Still warm tonight, mid-70s by 11 o'clock tonight, and partly cloudy skies expected. There's a slight chance for a few passing showers, very light sprinkles, if you will, through this evening. But the heavier rain, and it won't be all that heavy, will be tomorrow late afternoon, evening, and into Thursday morning as this system gets organized to the north of us and to the west of us. A little area of low pressure will eventually swing this cold front our way. It is cooling things down already over the panhandle of Florida with that rain moving through. You see the heavier storms well to the west and north of us right now, pushing off to the east. A little bit of light rain still being detected by the radar this evening near Tampa Bay and also near St. Petersburg, north end of Anna Maria Island. A little bit of rain activity there. This could be some light sprinkles as well into Manatee County. I mentioned those cooler temperatures. Look at this, 50s right now in Pensacola, Tallahassee at 59 degrees, 20 degrees warmer though in Orlando and Sarasota, and 83 now in Key West. Temperatures around the coast, all in the 77 temperature there, at 79 in Arcadia, still 81 in Placida and Sebring. Tomorrow we'll start off right around 74 degrees, so it will be warm. It'll still be muggy. We'll see partly cloudy skies in the morning. And then by, say, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, not so much thunderstorm activity. I think we'll see showers mainly. Rain will be moderate at times moving through and through Wednesday night and Thursday morning. Well, here's the GFS forecast model showing you that Tuesday, and then this is today. Now we'll move through time. You'll see Wednesday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. A few showers pushing on, a better chance for rain on Tuesday evening, Tuesday night. The stronger cells will be near that area of low pressure, which will be moving across the state. And then snow falling into Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. Got a rain-snow mix there as a double-barrel low-pressure center moves off to the northeast there and then kind of wraps around, bringing more snow into West Virginia and parts of western Pennsylvania. But for us, we'll get that northerly wind beginning tomorrow, I should say Thursday afternoon, continuing on Friday. High pressure builds in for the weekend. Weekend is looking outstanding with some sunshine, temperatures in the mid-70s on Saturday, and looks like mid to upper 70s on Sunday. And then another storm system gathering. Long-range forecast showing another system that won't be a tropical system, but it'll be a low-pressure area. Could possibly be moving through on Thanksgiving. So we'll watch it. It's a long way off, and could be a day earlier, could be a day later, but I do think we'll see a low-pressure area bring us some changing weather by mid to late week next week. Now, as far as the forecast goes for boaters, seas will be running 2 to 3 feet. There'll be a light chop to moderate chop in the bays and inland waters. The extended forecast then, 60% chance for rain tomorrow afternoon and evening, 40% on Thursday morning, and then cooler weather. Look at the highs, the low 70s on Friday, same on Saturday, upper 70s on Sunday. Just a perfect weekend, lots of sunshine and lower humidity. Al will be back with his panel right after this. Stick around.
Christmas Traditions by LuxArt Silks, where more is merrier. Make your holidays sparkle with style. Browse our amazing showroom, cute collectible cottages, and beautiful Christmas displays. Find the inspiration, selection, and quality you need to deck the halls merry and bright. Christmas Traditions also features the area's largest selection of quality pre-lit Christmas trees, every size, shape, and color, and plenty of decorations to make your home shine for the holidays. Christmas Traditions by LuxArt Silks, where more is merrier. Visit us on New 301, just a quarter-mile north of University Parkway.
Sarasota Oxygen and CPAP is the largest locally owned CPAP supply company in the area.
Is it time to replace your old equipment? The staff at Sarasota Oxygen and CPAP can show you the most up-to-date CPAP equipment and supplies to meet your sleep apnea needs, including portable travel devices and the SoClean automatic CPAP sanitizer. We serve all of Southwest Florida, giving the highest quality of care with the finest CPAP equipment. Please visit our website, sarasotacpap.com.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with a family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, fishing, or biking and hiking. Or play the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy the flavors of the Black Belt. Book your adventure at our lodges or stay in the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
Being empowered starts with getting informed, looking closer. 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in her lifetime. But many of us don't know there are different types of breast cancer with different characteristics. That was me. Learning about the specifics of my diagnosis gave me the confidence to make informed treatment decisions with my doctor. This meant everything to me and my family. So take another look. Ask another question. Learn more at notonetype.org.
Welcome back. We are talking about making high school football safer. And joining us for more are 3-time Super Bowl champion Henry Lawrence, Dr. George Roselle, who treats retired NFL players, and Todd Cronetti, who is the head coach at St. Stephen's Episcopal School. Coach, did you see the helmets that we showed in that story? And do you believe that is going to help coaches and help keep kids safer?
Right. Sure. The coach makes a great point about having a data set of information to respond to. And that's what we haven't had in the past, is information to understand what the load on a player looks like through the course of a game, through the course of practice. That helmet actually is not unique in its structure. It's a Rydell helmet that's worn by a lot of people in a lot of places. It's the technology inside of the helmet that allows them to read the impacts. And we're actually beta testing a mouthpiece right now with a company out of Minnesota that gives us information. It goes right to the iPad that our trainer has on the sideline when there's an impact for a player, and it measures the size of the impact. And in some cases, even if player's not showing symptoms, but we can go ahead and check and see how they're doing.
Doctor, do you think that's going to help?
I think it can help some, but the problem with the helmet is it gives the player a false sense of security and safety. And the more technology they're wearing, the more they can play with reckless abandon. I played rugby for a number of years with no helmet whatsoever. I never forgot that I didn't have a helmet on, and I was always very careful. So in many ways, that's even safer. But the helmet was designed to prevent the skull from fracturing. The damage happens inside the skull when the brain is being sloshed around. So we got a ways to go in terms of making it safe.
Henry, knowing what you do about NFL football, do you think it's possible to ever design a helmet that is really going to prevent serious brain injury like we're seeing right now?
Well, from my understanding, a helmet has been produced several years ago that was available also to the NFL. They decided not to because, from my understanding, some deal with Rydell, the helmet people. But a helmet has been designed that is supposed to absorb the impact.
Where is it?
Yeah, I think there were a couple of problems with that. One, it doesn't make a loud bang when you hit because there's padding on the outside, so it's softer, which I think is a better idea. But the fans like the big hits.
Wow. The other question I had here is that with these new improved helmets, could we be facing an issue that school systems that have the money to be able to afford them will be able to get them for their players, and schools where are struggling financially will not?
I think potentially you could absolutely see situations like that, which is why the work I've done with USA Football has been around changing the way that we tackle, changing the language attached to tackling, actually taking a lot of nods from rugby and understanding ways to make a tackle without the head being involved in contact as much. You can never take the head completely out of contact, but we are able to use different parts of the body to strike, different parts of the body to take somebody to the ground that minimizes the amount of the head is used.
And I want to get into this more in the next segment, but Henry, you did express some concern earlier that if you change the game too much, it's not going to be football.
Well, I think the basics of football, as far as I'm concerned, will never change. And my concern, the different techniques that they are doing now, when you consciously say, okay, you're going in to make the tackle, and you're getting ready, and then you consciously think, well, I got to move my head. Well, there's a possibility kids grown up could break their neck just from the impact trying to move their head out of the way. And I'm not an expert in that area, but that is one of the things that I've thought about that could be a problem.
Okay, we have to take another quick break. We are just getting warmed up. Our conversation on preventing football injuries will continue after a quick break, so stay with us.
It's year-end clearance time at every Gettle location. Over 3,000 new vehicles, over 1,000 used vehicles on clearance right now at Gettle.com. And Gettle Pre-Owned Certified Plus means buying with peace of mind. Get credit help, fast cash for your car, and year-end clearance prices right now at a Gettle dealership near you. Gettle's got it. At Gettle.com.
As Art, Sarasota's only area rug superstore.
It fell off the roof of my car.
It fell out of my backpack.
Oh, it fell off my grocery cart.
I tossed it to a really clumsy friend.
I tripped while jogging.
My 2-year-old had a temper tantrum.
It bounced down 2 flights of stairs.
No matter how you broke your smartphone, there's only one smart way to fix it. Batteries plus bulbs.
I dropped it on the floor, and he stepped on it.
Schedule your repair at batteriesplus.com.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to Mesobook.com.
Each day, researchers make discoveries that bring us closer to the moment when all cancer patients can become survivors. Their progress is made possible with the help of clinical trials. Clinical trials are the brightest torch researchers have to light their way towards better treatments. And if you've been diagnosed with cancer, they may be your brightest ray of hope. Speak with your doctor and visit standuptocancer.org/clinical trials to learn more. Together, we can stand up for all of us.
Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. You're watching ABC7 News at 7:30.
Welcome back, everyone. We are talking about making high school football safer, and joining us for more are three-time Super Bowl champion Henry Lawrence, Dr. George Rozelle, who treats retired NFL players, and Todd Quinetti, head coach at St. Stephen's Episcopal School. Coach, let me ask you this, and then Henry, I want you to comment on it. Coach, if you could explain how you're changing tackling and hitting techniques to try to avoid injury.
Well, it starts with the language and how we teach it. You know, you would hear people yell from the sidelines, you got to put a hat on somebody, things like that, that just encourage players to be striking with their head. We would teach things like bite the ball, which was taking the player's head right into the middle of the ball carrier's body. And so now we talk about striking with different parts of the body. We talk about the head being up and away from contact when they do make contact, and just re-emphasizing those points. You've seen more and more of the rugby tackle start to take hold as well, and that's actually tackling somebody with the head behind, which, you know, even 5 years ago was an unforgivable sin in football in many places. And so now, as we realize that we can tackle effectively and keep the head away from contact, that change in language and that reinforcing language has made a big difference.
Correct me if I'm wrong, a big thing in sports is muscle memory, that you learn early and hopefully it becomes second nature in terms of how you tackle. How do you have success when kids have been playing from a very early age to teach them a different way of going about tackling?
Well, we're in the business of teaching young people, and so we want to take everything and break it down to the most understandable level possible, to put it into steps, to put it into a process, to give it language that matters and connects with the athlete. And so it's just a matter of taking that information and teaching it as precisely as we can and reinforcing it properly when it's happening at full speed.
Henry, what do you think about the different techniques that the coach was talking about?
Well, I think that what people don't realize is these athletes, these kids are smart. I mean, many of them are allowed to play dumb or act like they're dumb, but they're not. You know, when they're able to learn, you know, a multitude of plays and different positions and different zones, that's not dumb. So they're capable of learning it. And at that age, I mean, if you're teaching it, then you become conditioned to do what you need to do to apply to the rules.
We're seeing a lot of commercials, if you watch, you know, the NFL games, of NFL coaches talking about teaching NFL players different tackling techniques right now. At that level, are players going to be able to change?
I think so. I look at what they're doing now, and actually when I played, a lot of the stuff they're doing, I did it. I didn't do a whole lot with my head then. My thing was the Bama guy with my hand. You get your body strength, and most times I didn't have to use my head because I used that, you know. So they're capable of learning it.
Doctor, and I know that you mostly, when you work with NFL players and other football players, you're dealing with their head injury and so forth. But, you know, as a physician, could these different techniques result in different kinds of injuries than we're seeing now?
There are a lot of different kinds of head injuries, and they say if you've seen one head injury, you've seen one head injury, depending on the angle that you're hit. And there's a difference between football injuries and hockey injuries and soccer injuries. But what we see is, you know, there's a lot of white matter damage, similar to someone in a car accident. You get the diffuse axonal injury, and we see that as a measure of connectivity. And then, you know, there are power differentials in terms of, that's more gray matter. And the injury can be anywhere, and it can manifest. And then usually where there's head injury, there's also been, you know, neck injury, and there's been muscle misalignment. Most players I see are in chronic pain, and a lot of them have become addicted to the pain medications, and
a whole
it just issue. You know, spirals.
Right. Coach and Henry, I want to ask you this question from two different perspectives. As you have been implementing some of these new techniques, there are a lot of people who go to these games, even high school games, knowing what they used to know about high school football and still wanting those big hits and wanting those kids to be fearless in that kind of way. Do you encounter that?
We struggle with the fact that we're needing parents to change their language as well, and the way that they talk about the game and the way that they celebrate or reinforce a particular type of hit. We need everybody to understand that we're teaching a game that is safer. We're teaching those techniques for a reason, but we still want our players to be aggressive and to be physical. Make no mistake, those are the hallmarks of a great football player.
Okay, and Henry, what do you think about the new NFL rules? I mean, they are taking steps to try to avoid some of these injuries here. There are. It seems week to week what you can do in terms of getting to the quarterback is a little bit different than and open to interpretation.
I think it's doable. I look back, and even when I played defense, I mean, some of this stuff boils down to common sense. You know, you're going into a play. I mean, basically, if the guy's going down, I mean, use common sense. You know, you can go by the play. You can pull up. I mean, there's so many things that you can do, and I think that's what the refs are doing to make sure that the kid know, well, if you can pull up, you know it's a, then pull up, go by. It's not an impossible task.
But you do hear a lot of NFL players complaining about it right now.
Yeah, because, you know, that in my day, I mean, you lay it on. That was the only way.
Especially the teams that you played for.
That was the only way you could do it.
Oakland Raiders, ladies and gentlemen. And so I would imagine, Coach, are you also seeing that in terms of Florida high school football, that the FSHAA is really telling umps to, and referees, this is what you got to look for, and this is, you be a little bit more stricter in some of these rules?
Sure. So the Florida High School Athletic Association, the National Federation of High Schools, they're going to have points of emphasis every year for their officials. And those points of emphasis in the last several years have had to do with head contact, with launching, with anything considered targeting. So those things become points of interest, and they're asking them to reinforce them. It is interesting that there are officials who've been watching this game and officiating it for 20 years who are now being asked to see it differently and to call it differently. And that's all part of the challenge as well.
That's a different kind of mindset. So Doctor, if we're wrapping up this discussion, what do you want Mom and Dad who are watching this right now to know if they're thinking, if their kid is expressing interest to play football, whether it's Pee-wee football or going into high school, those families who are more reluctant to allow their kids to play?
Yeah, I think, again, it's about education and awareness. The parents need to, and the child needs to know what the risks are, what the benefits are. I mean, football can be a great game, and any kind of organized athletics. I had daughters that played soccer and had concussions, but there's the benefit, I think, outweighs the risk. But once you've had one concussion, then the best choice probably is to, not play that sport anymore. And
Henry, one concussion.
Well, not just concussion, but caution. When I was playing, now that I know what it's about, I had a lot of concussions. I had got in the huddle, and as quarterback kind of hold up a little bit, to get to the sideline. They give you some smelling salts. Say how many fingers you hold up to. You say 3. So he all right, get back in there. But they're taking the precautions now, and I think that is something that has to be done.
And Coach, I hear this conversation all the time that we are going to start seeing this in about 10 years as some families are more reluctant to have their kids play, that as they get to the high school level, as they get to the college and pro level, that it's going to change the game because there are going to be fewer players out there.
I think that's a reality. That's something we need to be prepared for. And we need to think about the way we train young people who are going to play the game. We have to talk about whether or not contact football is really the right answer for kids as young as 5 years old, as Henry mentioned before. And we need to be able to build them and develop their skill set so that when they're able to play at the contact level, that they're more confident and that they're ready to play the game. But certainly there are concerns around the diminishing numbers, and the NFL worries about a shrinking workforce. There are a lot of concerns about that. At this point, all we can do is coach our kids to play the safest game possible with the best information we have.
Doctor, I would imagine that, and we only have a few seconds left, but it's impossible to create pads and helmets that are going to solve all problems.
No, it's not possible. But I think the good news is these conditions are treatable. We have the neurotechnology now to accurately diagnose and to treat. and we can restore function and reverse a lot of the damage.
Okay, we have to leave it there. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us tonight. But before we go, we want to share with you what some of you said about last night's show on the midterm recounts. With 3 statewide races being too close to call and thousands of uncounted ballots, the state has ordered a recount. We went to Facebook to hear your thoughts, and Diane says, "I believe it is what it is. No recount. We should accept what it is." But Irma says, in a democracy, all votes count. And John says it's all part of the process. Less outrage and more education of folks who like to scream online would be welcome. Absolutely. Well, if you'd like to join the conversation on tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/mysuncoast. We want to thank our guests, 3-time Super Bowl champion Henry Lawrence, Dr. George Roselle, who treats retired NFL players, and Todd Cornetti, head coach of St. Stephen's Episcopal School. When we return, ABC7 business correspondent Richard Stern will be here to discuss the stock market, so stick around.
Happy Honda Days are here, and you're gonna like the holiday clearance savings. Save on the Accord, on sale for just $249 a month. That's the North American car of the year for less than the competition. Our most impressive Honda ever, on clearance for only $249 a month, loaded with more options, including a turbocharged engine and Honda Sensing. Do not miss these Honda clearance savings this week at your local Honda dealer.
Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Make your holidays sparkle with style. Browse our amazing showroom, cute collectible cottages, and beautiful Christmas displays. Find the inspiration, selection, and quality you need to deck the halls merry and bright. Christmas Traditions also features the area's largest selection of quality pre-lit Christmas trees, every size, shape, and color, and plenty of decorations to make your home shine for the holidays. Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Visit us on New 301, just a quarter-mile north of University Parkway.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
Women have shed their blood in defense of America since the dawn of the Republic.
They didn't have to sign that dotted line. They chose to.
Their sacrifices are profound.
If there was bad guys out there, we'd go out and find them.
And their noble accomplishments largely ignored.
No damn women aboard.
Unsung Heroes, the story of America's female patriots.
She's getting shot at out there.
An inspiring saga of perseverance and triumph.
Sunday at 10 on ABC7.
A policeman stopped.
Yeah, it was the lady parked next to me.
I called my wife.
My dad got up in the middle of the night.
My neighbor helped me out.
I called a tow truck.
Anyone can jumpstart your car, but for replacing a dead battery and installing it for free, there's no one like Batteries Plus bulbs. I'll install it myself.
I'd like you to do it.
Visit batteriesplus.com for a store near you.
Welcome back. We're coming to the end of 2018. A lot has happened in the stock market, and to discuss all of that and more is ABC7's business correspondent Richard Stern. So we're seeing some difficulties with the stock market right now. A lot of companies out there are jittery. What is going on?
Well, because we're going to wrap up the year, or at least talk about it, let's remember we've had January and October, and then we've had everything else. Because January, the market was straight up. October, the market was straight down. And in between, frankly, the markets didn't do a whole lot of anything. And now going into November with the elections behind us, a lot of people are saying, okay, the elections are behind us, maybe not in Florida, but the elections are behind us. what does it mean now as far as legislation and business? And there's a lot of confusion.
Right. I know. I understand the market being jittery because of the uncertainty of the election, but now we do know that the Democrats will control the House and the Republicans the Senate. So isn't kind of, and the parties are out there in terms of understanding what they want to accomplish in terms of infrastructure and pre-existing conditions. So I would imagine, wouldn't that add a little bit more stability?
One would hope. There's the old Dr. Phil, how's that working for you? Well, certainly what we had didn't appear to be working for us, so maybe now that we do have a different ruler, if you will, in the House of Representatives, maybe they're going to finally get something together. But a lot of people have been frustrated by the fact there's been a lot of positive talk, but particularly with infrastructure, very, very little action.
And I would imagine also the uncertainty in terms of the political climate with the Democrats in charge now and a lot of things still swirling around the president.
There's no question about that, and there's also a lot of uncertainty about interest rates, because remember, if you're going to really get involved in a huge project, whether it's bridges, roads, whatever it may be, the cost of money is important, and the cost of money has gone up sharply just this year.
We still have some of the largest corporations who are basically bedstones of Wall Street struggling mightily. I'm thinking about GE and Sears right now. What kind of impact is that also having on the market?
I think it's a black eye more than anything else. I think people have known that Sears has been in trouble for a very long time. General Electric just in the last day or two has traded below $8 a share for the first time since February of 2009. But I think the message is these are companies that just didn't keep pace. Look at FW Woolworth. I mean, go ahead, Eastman Kodak. There are a lot of companies that at one time absolutely dominated their world, and now they're simply gone.
GE is trying, though, right?
Well, they've got a new CEO. The first thing they did was cut the dividend to 1 cent. They did that so they couldn't be said, well, they abandoned their dividend altogether, but effectively they did. And now they're trying to raise money. They're going to sell some of their assets because they need to become liquid. If they're going to turn this company around, they need cash.
All right, Richard, thank you very much. Richard Stern joins us every other Tuesday to discuss the wild world of Wall Street. When we come back, we'll have our primetime headlines. But right now, let's get the final check on our first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Well, a gorgeous sunset tonight here. Looking out of Sarasota Bay from the Van Wezel webcam, showing the skies cleared just in time and lit up. The sky lit up this evening. Now we're looking at generally fair skies up and down the coast. A little bit of rainfall here and there around the sun coast, but not a lot. We are seeing some light rain, some light showers in some isolated areas across the west central Florida. The heavier storms well offshore and to the north of us now. And that's where they're going to stay throughout most of the overnight and morning. On Wednesday, we'll start to see some of this start to encroach in our region as this cold front gets a little bit of a twist and gets a little bit of a push and eventually moves on through. By midday Thursday, we'll see this whole thing kind of exit stage right, and then the cooler air will settle in for a couple of days at least. And this could be an end to those record-breaking upper 80s that we've seen over the past couple of days. Tomorrow, still warm though, mid-80s expected for highs, but that'll be the last of it for at least a few days. Now, I mentioned a light rain, a shower here and there, scattered about, but not everywhere. Obviously, about 90% of the area not seeing any rain at all, and haven't. Now, we have seen cooler temperatures already over the Panhandle, 59 in Tallahassee, down to 51 degrees in Pensacola. That's the edge of that much cooler air to the north. That will be sinking southward, but it'll take until midday Thursday to notice it. Right now, temperatures pretty warm for this time of year, upper 70s, 79 now in Venice, or 78 in Venice, now 79 in Northport. The Gulf water temperature at 80 degrees, 80 in Wauchula, and the forecast tomorrow is calling for a warm start and even a warm day, too. Highs will be into the mid-80s, and then we'll see increasing cloudiness as the system gets closer to us, and a chance for showers and storms mainly later in the day and through Wednesday night, I think, is the better chance for showers and a few thunderstorms. Those rain showers will linger up until Thursday morning, and then the front eventually blows on through. Now look at the snow as far south as Mississippi tomorrow afternoon, and then that low pressure gets itself organized over northeast Florida. It's kind of a double-barreled low-pressure storm center, one bringing some snow into Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and Missouri. And then for us, those winds start to switch around to a northerly direction beginning on Thursday afternoon. And we'll look for low temperatures on Friday into the mid-50s. So it'll be a nice cool start on Friday morning across the region. Now, high pressure stays with us through the weekend. Boy, the weekend is looking to be just gorgeous. Lots of sunshine, temperatures warming up into the mid-70s for the most part, maybe a little bit warmer on Sunday. And then a storm system indicated by the GFS long range, a lot can happen, has it moving through Florida. Not a tropical system, but a low pressure storm center could definitely cause some problems for the holiday. And now, as far as the tropics go, this is not causing any problems at this point. Doesn't appear to be a will as it makes its way off to the northwest. The chances have really lowered over the next 5 days, just a 20% chance of it developing into a tropical depression or tropical storm. And that's due to the shear. The low is right here, but most of the convection well east of the center. Keep an eye on it nonetheless, but more and more it looks like that system will just be an area of disturbed weather moving off to the west-northwest. Right now it's 79 degrees, still warm, and a few clouds still linger. Now, as far as the forecast goes for boaters, showers and storms later on in the day, otherwise partly cloudy skies throughout the morning. And seas will be 2 to 3 feet with a moderate chop by the afternoon. As far as the 7-day forecast goes, well, here it is. Good chances for showers and storms later on in the day on Wednesday and into Wednesday night, Thursday morning. And then we start to clear out of here and turn cooler on Friday. We're looking for highs in the low 70s. Same was true on Saturday. Alan will be back with primetime headlines right after this.
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with the family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, canoeing, camping, and more. Or challenge yourself on Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy a Deep South dining experience. Book your adventure in one of our members' lodges or stay at the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
It's year-end clearance time at every Gettle location. Over 3,000 new vehicles, over 1,000 used vehicles on clearance right now at Gettle.com. And Gettle Pre-Owned Certified Plus means buying with peace of mind. Get credit help, fast cash for your car, and year-end clearance prices right now at a Gettle dealership near you. Gettle's got it. At Gettle.com.
Dear parents, it's time for a pop quiz. What's the best kind of play for kids? Play that makes us think? Or helps us pretend? Or teaches us rules? Or to be creative? Actually, every kind of play is important because different kinds of play give us different kinds of skills. Help us mix up the ways we play. Okay, class dismissed. Now go play.
Growing up, my mom was afraid of the water, something she did not want me to feel.
So I enrolled Missy in swim lessons.
It changed my life.
Missy Franklin.
And now you can do the same for someone that you love.
There's nothing more precious than your child's well-being.
So act now, before it's too late.
Make us fly!
I'm glad I did.
Thanks, Mom. Visit usaswimmingfoundation.org to find, get, or give a swim lesson.
To be able to just get my son here and not think about how we will pay for it, it just takes so much weight off of my family. St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
Tomorrow at 9 on Suncoast View.
I'm Linda Carson. On Suncoast View, we meet a Southeastern guide dog in training who's made big headlines. A peek at St. Norman's holiday finds, Guy's Sausage Kitchen, and Our Kitchen.
Tomorrow at 9 on Suncoast View.
Get local news and information from the team you trust. Like ABC7 WWSB on Facebook to stay connected to the Suncoast.
Checking primetime headlines, First Lady Melania Trump is calling for a top national security official to be fired. This as her husband is reportedly looking at making changes at the White House and in his administration. CNN's Jeff Zeleny has the latest.
Another White House drama today, this time featuring First Lady Melania Trump, calling for the firing of a deputy national security advisor. An extraordinary shot across the bow from the East Wing office of the First Lady, which issued this statement today, aimed directly at a top West Wing advisor. It is the position of the office of the First Lady that she no longer deserves the honor of serving in this White House, the First Lady's spokeswoman Stephanie Grisham telling CNN. She is Mira Ricardel, the Deputy National Security Advisor, who is tangled with several officials in the Trump White House, from Defense Secretary James Mattis to the First Lady. But today, Ricardel was standing only a few feet behind the president at a Diwali lighting ceremony, marking India's most important holiday of the year. CNN has learned the First Lady and Ricardel were at odds during their recent trip to Africa.
I give him my honest advice and honest opinions, and then he does what he wants to do.
It was on that trip where Mrs. Trump said she didn't trust all of the president's advisors.
Has he had people that you didn't trust working for him?
Yes.
The latest dysfunction coming as a staff shakeup is already looming in the West Wing and the cabinet. The president ignoring those questions today.
Are you firing Secretary Nielsen?
Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen could be the next to go. Officials telling CNN the president could ask for her resignation at any point.
Thank you, sir, for your leadership.
Thank you very much. Great job.
She's been unable to win him over on his signature issue, immigration and border security. It could touch off a domino of departures, including White House Chief of Staff John Kelly, who is Nielsen's top advocate in the administration. Trump is already talking to a handful of potential replacements for Kelly, CNN has learned, including elevating Vice President Pence's Chief of Staff Nick Ayers to the post. But as Democrats assume their majority in the House and prepare to open investigations of the administration, it's unclear whether the ongoing turmoil in the West Wing could complicate recruiting qualified candidates. The president has rejected that premise.
This is a hot White House. We are a White House that people want to work with.
And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.